Hello, welcome to a brand new review. I've just noticed my camera is getting blued. There we go. Welcome to a brand new review. And the review we're talking about is Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, a light novel series written by, I'm not even going to try to attempt that, but I'll put it right here. If I remember to do that, because, yeah. Anyway, Jobless Reincarnation. Jobless Reincarnation is a reincarnation story about a guy called... Wow, I'm prepared for this. Rudius, there we go. It follows a guy who has a kind of a shitty life and is a shitty person. He gets reincarnated into a new world, a new lad, and a newborn, and he follows his life, still being a shitty person, but trying to do better, and still kind of having those shitty person tendencies, but he gets better. This was always a thing. I've had a lot of people read and watch it, because it is an anime, and tell me that they don't like the protagonist. And I always say, simply because the start, they don't like the protagonist. And I always say, that's the point. You're not meant to like him. You need to grow to like him. I started liking him more as he got older, and he started to have these experiences like the deaths, and him getting rejected multiple times. He still has that shitty person tendency, like he'll kind of treat women more like sex objects quite a few times, but it doesn't always end up well for him. And when he starts to fix that sort of problems and starts to fix himself, things start to go well for him. It's a really good example of karma. Like, the whole story is him basically getting fucked over by karma constantly for being a shitty person. But yeah, the fantasy elements are weirdly kind of tame. Like, this volume that I've got here, the whole story is about him getting a house. and getting married. Literally, that is like the 10th volume. There's a little bit more, but like, trying not to ruin stuff. And it's a world that's very grounded. The magic system, weird enough, is quite grounded. There is the massive spells, like there are these over-the-top spells that they can do, but these are rare. They are incredibly rare. Throughout the story, Naomi, going off the top of my head, there's another girl who is reincarnated, and her whole story is her trying to get back, because she doesn't want to be there. She wants to go home, and he wants to stay there. But because and there's this sort of conflict, but he still wants to help her, because again, he still wants to be around her because she's from the old world and has this sort of, she understands him a little bit better than other people. But also, he doesn't want to leave. He's had a life. He's got a life, this world. And he understands if he goes back, his shitty life will return. And he doesn't want that. And he starts to understand himself and people a lot more. Rudius is a character that I think I can weirdly relate to, because I've been in those situations where I've been a really shitty person, and shitty things have happened to me, and there's a point where I've got happy and I've tried to hold on to that happiness, and it always crumbles away. And that happens a lot with Rudius. He gets to a point where he's happy and he's ready and he's like, this is brilliant. I don't want anything to change. And then something big will hit him and it will change his whole life. There are like two big moments that I can remember off the top of my head that happen that I'm not going to ruin, which I'm like, oh shit. And also, he starts to get like overconfident through the series, because he's got his whole thing is that he can use spells wordless, and that's really rare in this world. Wordless casting is really rare. Only like a few people can do it, and he ends up teaching it to quite a few people, but he gets really confident in his like abilities, and because he also gets a eye replacement that like tells him the future slightly. Like, he doesn't tell him like far into the future, but just enough in the future that he can use it to defend himself. And then somebody beats him really badly, and he has to come with the fact that, shit, I'm not that strong. I thought I had this overpowered ability, but I haven't. I thought I had this overpowered ability, and I've just been proven really wrong, and I've had my shit kicked in. There is a kind of catharsis that he does get his ass kicked quite a few times. Again, he's a mage. He's not a fighter, he's a mage. Even though he gets taught how to use a sword, it's not his preferred way. It also is a really good way of showing that, yes, he is kind of a crappy person, but he works hard. Like, hard, that's another one, is that hard work always works than try to take the easy route. Even though he's been given a little bit of a boost, like he's naturally good at magic, he ends up doing more. He ends up like surpassing the people who taught him, and they end up wanting him to teach them. I also just kind of really like some of the side characters. Like, some of the side characters are more interesting. Oh fuck, what's his name? Oh, it's gonna kill me now. Oh, good news is he's in this fucking volume, so I can actually have a quick look. Yeah, Zanbo. Do you know what? This dude, he's actually really quite interesting. He's quite a really fun character. His whole thing is that he finds out about Rudius's little talent, because he's really good at making sculptures out of stone. And he wants him to teach him how to do that, and he ends up becoming his master. But the guy is like so strong, like stupidly strong. He was like taught in one of the stories, I think he like kills his brother as a baby because he's that strong. And he has to wear like stuff to hold that strength, and he can just break shit just by just being normal. And he betrays his brother like so quickly, because he's like, will you teach me if I betray you? Betray my brother? Yeah, all right then. And just goes and betrays his fucking brother because he's a prince. He just betrays his brother and sells him out. I love it. There are some really good moments. I would recommend the anime as well. Like, the anime is like gorgeous in its fighting, the fighting. As well as who else? Naomi. Naomi's like actually kind of another really fun character. Yeah. You know, it's just nice to have a story where, like, the one volume is so relaxing. Like, there generally isn't... What the fuck was that? Something just popped off. Oh, shit. What's that? It was just nice to have, like, moments, the downtime be a whole volume. Because usually you don't get that. Usually it's like a chapter, and it's usually not that much. This one is literally about him getting married. And the most action you really see is like they're buying a house, and they end up discovering a sort of like automaton creature. This is really early in the book, so don't worry. Automaton creature, and they have a little fight of that. That's it. That's like it. He's also just, yeah, and I did grow to like Rudius more as the series went on. Anyway, I'm rambling. How do I know if my videos are coming to an end? I start to ramble. Yeah, so we're going to cut it off here. Thank you very much for watching. I would very much recommend you pick up Mushoku. I'm going to not pronounce that in the fucking slightest. Yeah, hopefully you guys pick it up. Actually, should I put where you can buy these books in the description? No, because people just Amazon it. Just Amazon it. Fuck it. Or go to your local bookstore. Always support your local bookstore and buy physical shit. Amazon's great, but there are points where you might as well, you know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and ta-ra.